everyone, and welcome back to another edition of EastEnders Weekly, where we are discussing the episodes of EastEnders that were broadcast to some people between the 7th and the 11th of October.
What you alluding to, Ben?
There's a big leak this week.
Huge leak!
Not just on myself.
You leaked when you found out about the leak. There was a leak, and it was discovered on Saturday, wasn't it? That loads of people were watching this week's episode.
I know.
Far ahead of themselves.
All those Balam fans were on it.
Well, they were taking still shots of all the Balam scenes, and I think, unfortunately for them, there wasn't that much Balam.
I know.
But they seemed to be able to wring out as much as they could from the Balam scenes, despite there not being that many.
That's right.
Talk
But we
about.
kept ourselves pure.
We did.
And kept the ratings up for EastEnders because they needed it.
Bathed ourselves in camel's milk. Kept ourselves as good people.
So if you didn't know about the leaks, the whole week was leaks, but it's all been fixed and sorted now. So no more leaks.
It was something to do with iPlayer.
Yeah, there was like a loophole in iPlayer where you could change dates and just put the episode up.
Just get on with it and watch
Simple
them.
as that.
So you could have watched anything on iPlayer, technically, but people chose to steal EastEnders.
The series final of something got spilled as well. The capture or something. The series final of that got...
the drama.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that the EastEnders is the one that... I suppose we are more EastEnders-centric.
Like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's one of the most leaked things. So it goes to show that EastEnders still has that appeal for people wanting a leak.
Wanting more.
Always wanting more.
And we just got to say as well that we're
unofficially official podcast for EastEnders.
That's right. Got to get that out there every
week. We
week.
have to say that every week. We're sorry. It's the same as when I do the socials. It has to be said every week. Shall I do my shout out of the week?
Oh yes, we've got that, haven't we?
Yeah,
we've got about that.
We do. So every week we do a shout out for one of our followers. If you'd like to be considered, you can always get in touch with us down the normal routes, which I'll probably say a bit later on the show. But this week, there's been a bit of debate on Twitter, Ben.
Was there?
Well, after last week when you said you were the best host, and I said, who says you're the best host?
Only host, I said as well. Remember?
Yeah, which I was close to leaving the room when you said that. Someone put up a poll to ask who's the best presenter.
I wonder who that was.
It was Ben Mitchell.
Of course it was.
Ben Mitchell. He likes to stir, doesn't he?
Yeah, he likes to get his name on this show, you see.
He does. He likes to have his notoriety. So, do you want to know the result to the poll?
Yes, I do.
Well, quite frustratingly, 58% of the Twitter nation believe that you are the better host.
Oh.
So you won.
I am the only host, so that's why.
Well,
it wasn't who's the best co-host. What was the actual question?
So the question was, as I'm completely impartial, who is the hostess with the mostess on @EastEnders Week, which is our Twitter handle, @EastEnders Week. Ben the camp one, or Alex the massive Balam fan?
Oh, trying to sway votes there.
And still didn't work. I didn't put this up though.
No,
I need to make this clear.
He was trying to persuade votes.
I mean, last week's shout out of the week, Kate said, "Don't make me choose." So thank you, Kate. I'm glad you said
loyal.
that. Very loyal fan. @Balam fan said, "Can't choose. It just wouldn't work without one or the other." So again, thank you.
There you go. There's some impartial people.
Yeah, some impartial people. But then we get to our shout out of the week, who is @Little Ms Lost One.
Oh. Is this a shout out, but you're shouting her out, basically?
I am.
Right.
I feel like I'm trying to get brownie points from her.
She wants you to be a bit more bitchy, so come on, lay it out. Get those claws out.
Shut up. Shut up, Little Miss. I can't be horrible.
No.
I can't be horrible. But she said that this is why Ben is loved, because on your spoiler cast that you posted this week as well, which you can find on our YouTube channel by searching EastEnders Weekly Podcast, Ben had said a quote saying it's taken Louise a week to be bothered to visit her friend.
Which it had. And that's typical Louise.
And Little Miss Lost said that because of that one quote, you're better than me.
You have to start being a bit more critical then this week. I expect lots of criticisms. Well, there's Jags. You can talk about him.
I'm always very critical. The Jags, I've got lots to say about Jags. I mean, after last week's false start, he's really not come out there.
Still stalling.
No, exactly. He's not really come out of it doing too well, in my opinion. But yeah, so genuinely though, thank you for everyone who comments on Twitter to us, including @LittleMissLost1, who is our shout out of the week. So thank you for getting involved.
Right, so let's go on and actually talk about the show then this week. We're going to talk about Jags later, but we're going to start off with the Habiba and Mariam and Arshad storyline, because it seems like possibly two more are going to be leaving out of this family. They're not safe in this country anymore and they want to go home.
Yeah.
See their family.
Not because of anything, well, not anything we've done necessarily, but because that...
You personally?
Yes. gone to their house and
we
thrown
love
eggs.
them. I love them. I don't
we
want
want
them to
more
leave.
Mariam and Arshad.
It's really upset by this week.
But they had one story and then got forgotten, and then they're just kind of wrapping up the stories now, aren't they? It's pretty
There's a lot of
strange.
lost potential with those though, especially Mariam. Like when she first came into the show and Mick was shot and she went in and helped him and she was an ex-nurse and she kept his secret and did him all up and she was really confident and a bit feisty but also lovable. Now she's just nothing.
Well, she's really weakened, hasn't she? There's this character. She said herself, this isn't like her to be. She's got this agoraphobic side
because of the mugging.
Yeah, because of that mugging of her necklace.
The hilarious mugging, which I found funny.
Yeah, well, just because it looked like it could have been stopped at any point,
and she looked like it didn't bother her, but apparently it has.
But this is the weird thing, isn't it? Because we've said on the podcast in the past that it's just been forgotten. It's like it never happened, and there was that weird.
It's not like we knew what that necklace meant to her.
No. She came home. She was a bit like, oh, I'm a bit quiet now, but that was it.
And then
really
did the shopping, and that was it.
And then Iqra came out, and we all just presumed, well, is Mariam homophobic or is it related to that mugging?
No, she's not. She loves it.
Not. She likes it. She said, "You're your own confident woman. I'm proud of what you've become. I don't have a problem with your sexuality whatsoever." But that little girl that stole my necklace, she's caused a lot of pain in my life.
Yeah, but it's a bit upsetting because it looks like they've not confirmed anything, but it looks like they're both wanting to leave. Which again leaves Iqra and Habiba like completely isolated because Adam has been announced to be leaving soon as well.
Yeah, well, but again, this is the story also that Adam's wrapping up because you can see it now. It's wrapping up for Adam because their secrets come out by Iqra to Arshad that Adam's a bit of a serial cheater.
And Habiba's just like completely over it, like all of a sudden this week.
Well, she warns Honey quite often throughout the week, doesn't she? She says, why do you put up with him doing this? And
but she's literally gone from madly in love with him to being like, actually, no, you're trash and I'm going to tell Honey. And it seems like such a 180 on this storyline. Like they've just decided, no, that's the end.
I think because also Habiba has realised that Adam probably was having an affair with Habiba and someone else. So it wasn't just Habiba he was having an affair with. She said to Honey, he said to me, we were going to be away and leaving at Christmas. So don't trust him. You can't be trusted. And unfortunately for Honey, she's kind of just said, well, this is a best of a bad situation and I've got to stick with him because of the kids. I've got to stay with him for the children. Janet loves him.
Could have stayed with Billy for the children then, couldn't she?
Well, I won't say, but on the autumn preview, Mariam does have some choice words to say to Honey about Billy.
But we also got hints of a potential new storyline with Honey this week as well, because her and Habiba have that chat and she says, looks aren't everything. Once you've got a family, there's more things you need to look out for apart from just your looks. But then also in the week, she puts on like a nice dress and Adam's like, oh yeah, you look fine. And then Habiba walks in like hair blow dried, tight dress on, sparkly, makeup, everything. And he's like, yeah.
Yeah, he double takes almost, doesn't he? So...
And we have like small hints that maybe there's like a eating disorder or bulimia storyline starting with Honey.
But is it that, or is she pregnant? And is that the reason she ran to the toilet? Yeah.
No. So what you think?
I don't think. No, I don't know.
Why would she brush her teeth? Oh, I guess.
Well, she brushed her teeth because she had sickness. Yeah,
no, but they keep saying, oh, have this.
Yeah, but maybe the food's making her feel unwell. And so she genuinely doesn't want to eat the food.
It's got to be an eating disorder because of all the hints that Habiba's pretty and young and slim compared to her.
Her beauty. And she's had the past, hasn't she, when she was looking through her old portfolio of model photos. That one of her on the swing, looking demonic at the camera.
But it'd be interesting because Linda suffered with bulimia in the past. So I don't know if that's ever going to come up again.
Was that after her rape story?
She had it when she was a kid. Okay. But then she didn't. It was one of those things where they just writ it in, and apparently she's always had it.
Okay.
But they've not mentioned that since.
Well, she's going to have her own problems.
Well, yeah.
She's going to be throwing up for other reasons.
But that's interesting that they're going this way with Honey.
It makes sense for Honey, I think, because Honey's always she's not the brightest spark, and she's always relied on her looks to get her by in life, I think.
Honey trap.
To be fair. Exactly. Her introduction. Her introduction and the reason she's called Honey is because she was a honey trap for Billy initially.
But came on to Patrick by accident.
Yes, got like you do. Patrick and Billy, very similar people.
Actually, I think it might have been the other way round. I'm trying to remember now. Patrick. I think it was meant to be Patrick, but Billy was wearing his hat while Patrick went to the toilet, and she thought it was something like that. I'm
surprised Patrick allowed someone else to wear his hat. That's where he stores his odd banknote.
This is old Patrick, you see. Classic.
Classic Patrick. So it's not too surprising that Honey is getting very upset because the one thing that she can almost rely on isn't particularly her fallback plan anymore. And she's really trying as well with Adam, and Adam's just kind of throwing it back. I mean, she wears the kind of Indian dress as well. And
don't impress him.
No, nothing impressed him. Yeah.
But she's getting suspicious all week because she's like looking at his clothes and he keeps saying he's away on business trips and going here for a business thing. And she like finds like a hair.
Yeah, one hair on his clothes.
Could it be Sharon's? Sharon having another go at someone else?
It's the baby Adams.
Yeah, that'd be a twist. Yeah, so she's suspicious. He's like trying to make some weird picnic towards the end of the week.
Well, it's because he had to leave. He said, "Oh, I apologise for having to run off to work today."
It's probably going to be the one time that he was being honest to her, probably.
What was it he said he had to do? He had to do a compact root canal. I mean,
don't we all?
I mean, is that a euphemism for something? Is he kind of lying in plain sight?
Oh yeah,
he's
maybe.
Actually saying to Honey, "I'm doing that," but
I've got my own little pocket rocket somewhere.
Yeah.
And also Habiba and Iqra like spilled all the beans to Arshad as well this week.
I was a bit upset.
Getting ready
with
for
Arshad.
everyone to leave, basically.
Exactly, setting them all up all to fail.
Yeah.
I was really angry with Arshad this week because the first time she said Adams had an affair with Habiba, he went, "Oh, one mistake doesn't make an affair." So all right, Arshad. But then that prompted Iqra to say, "Well, it's not just one; it's many."
Plus, it was when Habiba and their kind of family, and that's when he thought, that's kind of crossing the line there.
Well, yeah, because he's being really generous to Mariam and Arshad because it's National Adoptive Parents Day, which I didn't even know existed. Yeah, it just seemed to fall on the day that they're trying to get rid of all the characters. And Adam's being very generous, buying lots of presents, and he's offered a holiday, and Arshad's been stepped back, and he's a bit like, "Oh no." Not only has Mariam's world collapsed, thinking that this country she's lived in and loved has become this very unsafe non-haven.
I feel her.
Now, I think, let's be honest, her favourite adoptive child, Adam, because he showers her with gifts and love, and he's now become not quite the good guy that she first thought. His mask has slipped.
Yeah, it's such a wasted opportunity because we only met Adam from their adoptive, and that there was like a gay couple who adopted that baby which got kidnapped like last year. Like they're the only ones we've really met, but they've adopted like hundreds allegedly. And we thought all these really good characters, we can have characters come in, stay for a bit, introduce, leave, but they haven't used their potential at all for Mariam and Arshad. There's so much more they could have given.
Well, they have a wall of adoptive children,
exactly.
Don't they? Yeah, and it would have been a nice source to root from, wouldn't it?
So much more potential, but it doesn't look like we're going to get it. Right, so let's go on and talk about the Taylors/Atkins, because there was like 2 mini storylines this week with them. One with Bailey, where she was making her family tree and she felt the courage and she felt safe enough to ask Karen to be her second mother, because Karen's done no wrong to Bailey.
In Bailey's mind, yes, yeah. But unfortunately, it all comes out this week what Karen potentially had done wrong for Bailey's true feelings.
I mean, Bailey has to put up with a lot, doesn't she, this year? And then to find this out, it's just horrible.
Well, she's always been the one who's been sensibly, the sensible one, the sensible-minded one. There's been times when we kind of said Bailey is the only one who talks sense in a scene. And this week, Bailey has been quite rightly allowed to be a child and
be upset.
And feel upset over something which, she had no control over, which must be incredibly frustrating too for her.
I mean, even if you weren't a child, it's such a complicated... What she overheard Karen say to Mitch, because Bailey asked her to adopt her so she could be her mother, and Karen wants to ask Mitch, and they sort of mention that she knew about her mum wanting to kill herself. But like having a child try and understand what she overheard...
Well, her own mum, because she didn't want her mum to die.
No.
And it was even her last scene with her mum that she... Sorry, I'm avoiding her name.
Yeah, I'm saying her mum.
Dina. I wrote it down. Dina. Dina promised that she wouldn't, use euthanasia. She would, stay alive for what is naturally as long as she possibly can. And it was only Karen that knew that she was planning to end it.
No, I guess Bailey's trying to find... This whole time she's been trying to find someone to blame, and I guess this is her excuse
I think it's trying to find understanding for it too, because I don't think she's ever kind of really understood why. And I think Bailey is almost afraid to talk to Karen about it, because Karen might have the answers that she's looking for. If she sat down and spoke to her about Dina, her mum, she would perhaps maybe be able to get an understanding, and maybe Bailey's frightened to get this understanding, because then this would officially be the ending of her mum. So instead of having this dreamlike memories of her mother, she's now going to finally, or she could potentially find out exactly the reason why she spoke to Karen about it, and what could be
ending
problems.
on like a bad memory for her. Like her last memory of her mum is now going to be sort of tainted, I guess. But I mean, she ran away for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, good amount of time. I reckon she hid in a skip somewhere.
Not as good as Diane Butcher, but a bit better than baby Janine.
No, Diane Butcher did a good stint. It was a good running away stint. In fact, she had her own kind of spin-off, didn't she?
Yeah.
2 episodes of a classic episode.
And we'll talk about them later. And was it Tiff? She went to Tiff's, or Tiff found her and brought her to Gray and Chantel's
Tiff
house?
found her and said she didn't want to go back home to Karen's
That was
house,
it.
and Taylor's house.
Mm.
But Keegan and Bernie visited Chantelle and Gray and told them that...
Also said Bailey's got no friends. Bernie.
I know, bitch.
What friends have you got, Bernie? Don't tell me that.
Well,
Ted's gone.
Well, I was going to say one that's left, and who else?
Chess piece.
Yeah. No, she's got Tiff.
Has she?
Well, she has.
They're not ever together anymore.
They're friends still. I'd hope so.
Dunno.
After the blooming 2-3 week marathon, which was, why is Bernie upset because Tiff's dating Keegan? Keegan finds out that she hurt Bernie. Let's never remember those days.
And it was interesting that Gray felt the need to tell everyone.
I thought that was a bit sly of
little
Gray.
Dog.
Yeah.
How did he know? Did he just work it out because he's a solicitor and he's good at analysing?
No, Karen and...
they actually did tell him.
Remember they had the inquest about Dina?
Yes, of course.
And Karen and Mitch revealed to Gray that she did know that she was going to kill herself, but luckily it got acquitted. So
but it's strange that he wanted to tell everyone, because normally he likes to set Mitch up. But this was really setting up Karen.
Yeah,
so it's a bit strange.
And it really upset Chantelle as well that he'd done that. I mean, you're right. This was really odd for Gray's character. I think
everything about his character is odd. It's really hard to gauge anything with Gray.
And he relished it as well. He really relished it. And he didn't really understand why Chantelle was angry at him. To him, he was like, I'm telling the truth. I'm being honest with Keegan. Why should I... It's almost, I think, a tactic to keep Keegan on board. I think Keegan's his one bargaining chip.
He looks up to him, doesn't he?
Exactly, and he's able to use Keegan as a manipulative tool especially against Mitch. But maybe now he's using it against Karen too. Yeah. Again, further trying to separate Chantelle from her family.
That's true. He wants her to be a bit alone, doesn't he? Again, we had those things where Chantelle says something and it goes to Gray, and you don't know how he's going to take whatever she says. She could say, "Good morning, Gray," and he could just fly off the handle for...
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, it's like, I hate it. It's always on edge. But he still isn't, he nearly hit her again, but she said, "Oh no, baby," and he
hit the marble kitchen side instead.
He did.
I think marble kitchen side deserved it.
And then he just disappeared for the night. Told Chantelle he stayed in his office, but obviously Officer Jack...
Yes, his first scene as a police officer. I mean, in fact, did it feel strange to you seeing
It felt ridiculous because he's got personal interest, because it's on... Policemen don't work where they live, one. No. You have to work a certain miles away from where you live, so you don't have to do anything when you know. And he knows Gray personally. His girlfriend, Denise, used to work with Chantelle. It's like... Yeah. So that annoyed me.
So there's an invested interest for him to perhaps maybe taint the truth a little bit to get Gray off. No, I completely agree, and you're absolutely right.
So that was stupid. His little suit. And he wouldn't let his partner talk. The woman, she didn't say anything.
She was an unpaid extra. She doesn't say a word. She stays quiet, stays in the background and nods.
Jack got his little badge out. So silly. But
oh yeah, his DCI badge. DCI Branning.
Oh god.
Special Jack Squad.
But apparently Gray had been seen in a nightclub, and there was a fight, and another man obviously was beaten up, but Gray didn't seem to have any bruises on him. So
Gray
he must be quite a good little fighter.
Violent little fighter, isn't he? Yeah. I don't reckon he's scrappy.
But you think he'd be quite weak against other guys. That's why he then takes out on Chantelle, because he likes to be powerful over weak people. But
yeah, but he might see that guy as weak as well.
Yeah, we don't know what the guy was like, do we?
After we found out that he had beaten up the guy in the nightclub, I kind of thought that in a few months' time there's going to be a scene where he hits Keegan.
What do you think?
Keegan will say something out of turn, and he'll see the darker side of Gray, and then this is when the twists and turns begin.
Or he might just keep having, because we've got 9 months of this where he can't take his frustration out on Chantelle.
Yes, Chantelle's immune now to any violence.
Hope. God.
Well, exactly.
So he keeps building up his anger and then going somewhere. Or last week it was punching stuff in the house, but this time he actually went out and had to physically get out of him.
Yeah, he's like a coiled spring, isn't he? He has to release this energy somehow. I mean, what's frightening also though is that he says that he won't punch, or he wasn't going to hit Chantelle, but not because of Chantelle. Because if she wasn't pregnant, she would have been getting the full force of it right then.
Oh, it's so
it's because he's I would never hurt the baby. Do you think I would hurt the baby?
And he gets really offended by that, doesn't he? It's like, for God's sake, are you listening to yourself? So weird. But slight spoiler. We're pausing for spoilers now. 30 seconds. Da, 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 da. Okay. He did an interview recently, the guy who plays Grey, Toby. Lovely Toby. Lovely smile. He did an interview saying that they're going to be eventually looking into Grey's family, like his side of his past.
Right.
It's coming up. So it's what we wanted, didn't we? A few months ago, we said we wanted to see why he's like this, what makes him tick.
Doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it. We should.
But we want to know.
But we should, yeah. It add a third, fourth, fifth dimension to the story of understanding why Grey is that way. Do you reckon they'll do a flashback
to his childhood?
Yeah, like they did with Kat.
Oh yeah, that really.
When he gave him the Kaplunk game, like, here you go, Kat.
That was at Christmas, wasn't it? Yeah. They recast Charlie and Viv.
Yeah, and everyone thought it was going to be this, like maybe a whole episode of like the retrospective.
It was like literally not even 10 seconds.
Yeah, it was just Kat dreaming whilst sitting in the kitchen. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, that would be interesting. But yeah, apart from DCI, because he asked Jack not to tell Chantelle, and Jack was like, well, if she comes up in the case, I will tell her.
Yes, because she might be a witness.
And he's obviously lied to her, so. Yeah, maybe he'll beat up Jack.
Yeah, maybe. Or all I'm thinking is, what if they ask Chantelle some questions that might probe a bit deeper into the way Grey's home life is?
That's true.
You know, I don't know if there's. I don't know. Again, I'm not sure how nurses or doctors write notes down, but would they be able to investigate perhaps that she went to the hospital and they need to have.
Well, we don't even know if he's got like past girlfriends who he's done this to, who might come out of the woodwork. Just don't know, do you? One other little last thing with this was at the end of the week, Jean saw Chantelle walk across the square.
Yes.
She had a little premonition. She was a little mystic Big Mo there.
Well, Chantelle was really happy, and Kush asked her, is everything all right? She went, yeah, everything's great. And then, Jean said some wise words. The first one to spot it.
Yeah, she said, that girl, there's something about her, she's not happy deep down.
Under the surface.
Maybe she should be that mystic person who came to tell Chantelle that before.
Yeah, for 50 quid, just to tell her the refrigerator's moved a bit.
But that would be nice, actually, because Jean's that little matriarch, cuddly, there for people. So that would be nice if she was the one. We didn't really think about that. We were thinking Whitney or Linda or something. But yeah, Jean could make sense.
I think it's also good that they've done it with the Slaters, because don't forget that the abuse storyline happened to Mo Slater.
Oh, yeah.
So with Jean...
she might have a bit of first-hand experience.
But also able to maybe talk to Kat about it. So then they're kind of opening up to people who have experience themselves, looking from the outside in. And
Chantelle and Jean, they've had that little bit of relationship where she did the wig for her. So they have got that first bond, I guess. So yeah, that'd be nice. Nice for Jean.
Oh, absolutely. Like I say, the more you give the character Jean, the better. Because I love that character so much.
Right, we're going to go on. I know last week we said there's no more feature.
Yes, and then guess what's happening?
But there is a feature this week because it's the review of 1990, because it's just finished airing on Drama Channel. So we're going to do a review of 1990 and see how it compared to the lows of 1989. So here we are to review 1990 of EastEnders.
Yeah, we were promised so much about 1990. Everyone we spoke to said, just get through 1989. Just get through it. 1990 is a much better year. It's a bit of a renaissance back into the old school EastEnders.
Here we are.
And here we are, a bit disappointed, I think.
It was slightly better, but it had like 89, it had highs and lows. But there was nothing like stand out in 1990 where I thought, oh, this episode's a really well-written episode. I suppose the two were probably Diane when she ran away when they went to a flashback was very good, and the handling of Mo Butcher's dementia. I
was thinking that it's interesting, isn't it, that we thought that the two best stories were the Butchers, so rather than the Bill story, because there was quite a heavily influenced Bill storyline running throughout the year as well.
Yeah, all year that ran with Cindy, Simon, and Ian, and the paternity of Stephen.
And so you think that because the Bill were they're the first family of EastEnders, that they would be the one that you remember the most fondly. And I think they are, but because everyone remembers Cindy and Ian. But for me, it was the Butcher stories. It was Diane running away and seeing her story when she had run away 3 months earlier, and Mo Butcher, the very good portrayal by the actress of dementia slowly setting into her.
They were done really well, and like the Ian and Cindy one, it was a bit corny, like when he crashed his car and then he followed them to some house and it
was Cindy's parents' house.
Yeah, and he kept pointing a gun at the camera, but then nothing ever came of it.
Nothing came of that. So he stole the gun from Cindy's house, and Cindy's parents took weeks to discover that it had gone missing. And Ian got a bit panicked, was thinking about shooting Simon, Because he thinks about killing Simon on a few instances.
About 4 times, I would say, but then nothing really
Well, at one
happens.
point, Simon chases him into the house and he runs into the bedroom and hides behind the wall with the gun in his hand, ready to shoot, and then thinks, nah, better of it, and hides it back into the cupboard again. But it ultimately ends with him just throwing it into the canal. Brought back flashbacks of when Linda threw that gun into the canal after Stuart's shooting.
Don't bring that up. We're not doing that review yet. We said goodbye to a few characters this year. So Rod left.
I was sad to see Rod go. Yeah. I always felt they never utilised him very well. He was always a bit of a...
extra.
Yeah.
We had Kathy's love life, which hasn't gone well, because she was dating that guy called Laurie and he got axed. And Pete was dating that New Zealand woman, Barbara, and she then got axed. So it was like having another year of transition, which may be why it's a bit patchy still.
I guess so. There was another executive producer introduced yet again, wasn't there, in 1990?
Yeah,
so they
had over.
So they had that bad year. We've been through a bad year of EastEnders with a bad executive producer.
It takes a long time to.
It does. You have to, and sometimes you need an interim executive producer to kind of patch the ground up, ready for a very excellent executive producer.
Another really good storyline, like midway through the year, was Nick Cotton. Throw him out. He gives you a good storyline.
Yeah.
Where he's trying to poison Dot, which was done quite well. It's quite.
I thought
harrowing.
It was a bit camp, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but
I found
Dot Cotton is camp.
Especially knowing ahead of what's going to happen in 1990 with Nick Cotton, which is a really dark story. Doing this, I thought was a bit silly and over the top, and I don't think. Even in Nick's heart of hearts, I don't think he could ever have gone through with it, with killing his own mother. He could never have done that.
We say that. He appears again and again and again.
I know, but then that's where he gets more and more desperate. By this point, he's still not at that, heightened Nick, desperateness where he's, all Dot had won was the newspaper lottery. Her numbers had come in.
Yeah, 10,000? Or not even that much? 5,000?
No, I think it was £10,000. She won quite a hefty amount of money today, so... she doesn't need the money now, does she? She's inherited millions. But at the time, that was a big deal for her. She was even considering retiring from it.
We also had lots of characters left. Marge Green left, Julie left. Everyone from 1989 was axed.
I think Marge's was a sad ending. Because her whole story was how she was her mother was dependent on her. She had to look after her the whole time.
She put off her whole life.
Yeah, for her mum. Even her love life when they went away to, was it Skag's End or something?
Oh, yeah.
And she fell in love, or she fancied this guy, and he was like, come with me. She was like, I just can't. Then her mum died, so she wasted that opportunity.
Was free for like a week.
Yeah, and then she decided, oh, you know what? I've done it my whole life. I might as well just go back to caring for someone else's mum.
And she turned out to be like a really horrible person. So the rest of Marge's life was probably miserable.
Yeah, really harrowing.
Yeah.
And even Dot warns her as well. She says, are you sure about this, Marge? Is this something you really want to do? Since you've been complaining about it the whole time you've been on the soap. So
it's like she didn't know anything else for her life. But yeah, you just know the rest of Marge's life was probably miserable. So that's a bit depressing. And Julie Cooper, she slept with Grant because Phil and Grant got introduced this year. Didn't really have much of a storyline this year. They kind of just slowly integrated themselves into the show.
I have to say they were introduced well, though. They were introduced as kind of these fun characters, and you slowly learn more and more about their past, more
Phil
information.
Mitchell, fun character.
They were. They danced with Ethel in the pub, didn't they? They had a little jig, but they were slowly introduced, and you started to learn more about their past, their history. More family members were introduced when Sam came onto the square.
Oh, yeah, wet drip Sam.
Yeah, you heard a bit about Peggy. She's got a new man. The new man
doesn't care about her kids, apparently.
Yeah, she goes away to Tenerife without them, leaves them at Gatwick, and then phones the boys.
That's not the Barbara Windsor we know, is it?
Not at all.
We had that weird storyline as well, which was a bit 2017, where like the council were trying to take over the square and demolish it, and Pete Bill and all the traders. Like there was loads of characters who weren't really characters of traders.
Yeah, there was the old guy who was the head of the council, the Traders Association, who then lost the job to Pete after Kathy started a campaign that Pete would be better. I mean, the whole time, Pete's little speeches just made me more angry toward Pete.
Yeah, it wasn't a good year for Pete. Even
it really
for Pete.
Wasn't. But a lot of his stories kind of started and then just ended prematurely all the time.
They didn't get rid of him.
But they succeeded in not getting the market closed down.
Yes, they did, because Michelle had like her she didn't really have a storyline this year either. She had that weird one where she was dating that married man but didn't think it was wrong, but then wanted to be with him, and it was all a bit weird.
Oh yeah, because the wife came over and spoke to her, and she still stayed with him.
Yeah,
really odd for Michelle.
Not good for Michelle. And then she got the job at the council, which then she quit and was all family and doing it for the
looking
community.
after the market and the community. Well, she let in Phil and Grant to steal documents and paperwork to prove that the council have been fiddling. They were fiddling the papers and taking backhanders in order to let this new development build in Albert Square. It's a story that we've heard quite recently as well.
So there was a lot of misses. Like there was a new family introduced, and like 80% of them are misses. Really, the Trevara family.
Trevier.
Yeah, something like that.
Sorry, we're butchering that name. That's terrible.
I mean, half the year I couldn't even listen to their storylines. It's just so boring. Like, one of the sons is ill. The family like mother him and don't let him be a child.
He had a sickness when he was younger, didn't he? And he had an attack of this sickness. And since then, they don't like him doing anything too physical and too much.
But they're a case of like not being introduced well because they just were confined to themselves for most of the year. Yeah,
they really didn't interact. The only one who did was Jules, who interacted with Dot because Dot's got a bit of a soft spot for him. And Clyde was introduced as well. Clyde was let out into the open air to have a job at the Vic. And I thought his story was quite interesting, where he had a child with a woman who died, and so the grandparents were looking after the kid.
Claudette.
I was about to get to that. One of the grandparents was Claudette's first appearance on the soap, one of 3 as different characters.
That's what you like, isn't it? We also got introduced to the new Mark Fowler, which we know at the time he ends up being on the show as one of the longest serving male actors.
And he's all right, actually. I always remember Todd Carty's Mark Fowler being a bit wet and a bit of a drip.
Yeah, a bit of a drip, yeah.
But he's actually quite interesting when he was first introduced.
Because he's still a bit of a bad boy at the moment. He gets softer and softer as the years go by, doesn't he?
But he's got a secret. He keeps stopping himself.
To tell them,
there's something, and I don't think they find out or the secret is revealed for a very long time. It's very well handled, actually, because obviously we know. I don't think this is a spoiler to release the information that Mark Fowler was obviously HIV positive, but you can tell that that's the underlying story with him by the way he interacts with women. So he gets close to Diane.
Close to him,
but then when Diana wants to get closer still, he pulls away and doesn't want to. And he's not drinking anymore as heavily, and he doesn't smoke, and he's leading a very healthier life, and possibly because of medication he's on. So yeah, it's really well written, and he's integrated with the cast really well too. Really good, actually.
It is very good. One of the better points of the Fowlers, because Arthur got stuck just digging something up from an allotment randomly and didn't really lead anywhere.
It was a really strange story, wasn't it? He was looking into the history of this trumpet. And then he got given a music book of a song that the guy had written, and it was a hit in like wartime England. And he insisted that they played it, but you never heard the song. Every time they were going to play the song, they would cut to another scene, and then you cut back to everyone in the pub just kind of looking a bit puzzled and confused by what's so special about this song.
The whole storyline was just weird, and
proper filler.
We're also obviously saying goodbye to Simon and Cindy, which they've been in it for quite a while. The pub gets a new landlord, Eddie Royal.
Yeah, that was a stonker, wasn't it?
I know. I mean, he didn't even have a storyline for like the first 4 months, and then he had like 2 weeks of storyline, which was the most weirdest, made up load of police nonsense I've ever heard.
He got arrested, and you found out that you knew he was an ex-police officer, but he was charged for corruption, and then he was to give evidence against someone who was corrupt, who was going to get a promotion, but that person wasn't a corrupt person, it was someone else who was in the force, and he found out during a pool party for his daughter.
It was so weird.
It was really odd,
and he just
made
kept
no
appearing
sense.
in different places, scene after scene after scene. It was like they condensed a whole like 3 months worth of his story into like two episodes.
It reminded me a bit of Dickens Hill when they filmed all the Dirty Den scenes off, and then they kind of put it into the episode for 9 months.
It was just
it was really odd, but
not good.
As you said, it just jumped from one to the next, and it really made you kind of not care for Eddie Royal because you didn't learn any character development about him, only about these characters that you then have to write off and forget about.
Another dud for Kathy, like for her love life.
Her love life is really desperate, isn't it?
Dud after dud after dud. And then obviously we end the year with Simon and Cindy leaving after like their year-long storyline, which I suppose that was the only way they could go in the end of it, because no one would accept them in the square.
I mean, and also life was getting hard. Ian was definitely interfering with Simon's work life.
Yes.
Tries to kill him again by
Mhm.
cutting the brakes and panics because he sees that baby Stephen's in the car as well, and so stops him.
And he gets him fired and makes everyone think that he's been stealing money.
Yeah, again, it's like Sharon saw through it immediately because then Ian gave him a job to work in catering and said, "Oh, you never believe it, he's stealing from me now." And it's like, "Oh, come on, Ian."
He got away with it when he got him fired from the Vic, and I thought, okay, that was quite clever of you, Ian, but maybe stop there. Then he did it another time. And then said, £30 gone missing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, for God's sake, Ian. But then he also does it a third time as well. It's like, so yeah, he was pushing his luck there a bit, but it was hard to feel sympathy for Cindy, Simon, or Ian, really, because they were all
they were always bad
as
to one another. Exactly, they were all trying to one up each other. It was a game. As Sharon quite clearly described it, it's a game between them all, and it's interfering with the life of a child, which is sick, really. They weren't thinking about this Stephen's life. They were just thinking about themselves. Apart from Cindy, to be fair, Cindy was the only one who kind of wanted to step back from it and insisted that really we need to just leave and go. And so yeah, they said goodbye for the last time.
They did. They went. And the other thing that was going on was obviously Diane left in the beginning of the year, but they also brought in her friend that she met when she was homeless at the end of the year as well. So that was quite good. And she was pregnant and she left a baby on the doorstep. So
yes, and I think there's more of that to come as well next year in 1991. I think. Not 2020.
No, but yeah, that was really well done. Diane's whole arc was really good. Apart from the weird statue of her.
Oh yeah, that guy who
the artist
who paid her when she was homeless to model, and then he stomped the statue in the middle of the square,
and everyone knew it was her,
but it didn't look anything like her. Yeah, it was really really strange.
Yeah,
really
that was
strange.
very odd. Lots of questionable choices. Like Sam Mitchell was a bit of a drip, and
she was. But talking about questionable choices, Sam and Ricky's relationship blossoming.
Yeah, because they went to a theme park for one episode, and there was like a gay
with her gay friend, who Ricky got jealous of. But then Ricky bought a van, which we've not seen since the barbecue party.
Oh yeah, the camper van.
But I thought they were meant to be going away in it. Like he fixed it up in a miraculous amount of time. And then nothing was seen again. We don't even see it on a square, parked anywhere.
Bizarre, isn't it? Very odd year. I mean, people hyped it up to be like the next coming of Jesus, but really, it was...
It wasn't.
It was just as fake.
It was.
So yeah, I mean, it was okay. There was no massive standout. I think 89 maybe had a few, when I was watching it, there was some real standout moments, like the domestic abuse bits. But this year, there was just nothing massive.
I don't think it was any better than 89.
No, or worse. Not better or worse.
Middle ground. It was nice in between.
What a shame. C-.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to rate this year's then? We give him a rating. Mine's C-.
I can't remember what I ranked it last time. I'm going to give it. I didn't think it was that bad. And I have to say, the back end of the year was much better. From about September. Yeah, but from September onwards, when the new kind of era had started its flow. And
September had the Eddie Royal police 2 weeks though. You see, that's what really brought it down for me.
Okay, from October onwards. So I'm going to grade it in two ways. I'm going to grade it from beginning before October, and I'm going to give it a D-.
Oh.
Minus.
Oh my goodness.
But after October, when the bigger stories came in, I'm going to give it a C. Just a C.
Grant in his pants, B+.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to think about the young Mitchell brothers.
Yeah, no.
You really have. It's strange. And another thing I spotted is that if you look at young Phil and the new Ben Mitchell now, they look very similar. So
shave his head.
Yeah, so the casting is very good in that instance. So for the casting of new Ben Mitchell, a B+.
Which had nothing to do with this.
No, I just thought I'd join in.
Well, there you go. That was our review of 1990, and then you can tune in a few months' time for our review of 1991.
And keep watching the classic episodes on the Drama Channel in the UK.
Okay, let's keep going.
What?
On the Bex train.
Sorry, no doubt I said that a lot when I...
Yeah, Pete Bill. But we're here with Bex. The Fowlers are continuing to this day because we got the aftermath of what happened to Bex last week, where she's in hospital. Martin, obviously dark and broody last week, turned up, still hasn't washed, still hasn't showered.
But which turned you on, bizarrely?
Excuse me?
You on Twitter, you said, is it just me, is it really hot? That he looks dirty and
I didn't
really grimy.
say it like that. I said...
That's how it read.
Is it just me? Or does Martin look a bit hot? He did look good.
Hashtag dirty, hashtag unwashed.
He had a bit of Arthur Fowler hair, though, which I noticed, which I like, because he is Arthur Fowler's son.
Isn't he, though? Isn't he just like from this week? Not so much maybe with the scenes with Ben, but the scenes with Bex and him protecting his family and with Sonia. It really did.
Well, Ben called him Salt of the Earth. It's like, yeah.
Just like my dad.
That's what he is, yeah.
It was really nice, actually. I like that they kind of brought out the Arthur in him. And then it did get a bit more...
Pauline.
Yes. A bit more Pauline with the frying pan later to the end. But yes, no, it's great to have that link. Because don't forget, months and months ago when Dr. Legg came back, he said they had the troubles and the worries of the world just like his father.
He did, yeah.
So it's really good that they've done a throwback and they've remembered that Martin Fowler is the son of a legacy character. Two characters.
Born on the show.
Born on the show.
Still here today.
Yeah, his mum got her own taxi and went to the hospital and everyone wondered where she went.
But, I mean, he's stuck in like a hard place because he's got his family here. Does that make you laugh? Does he? Hard place? Anything
He's
to
stuck
say?
in a hard place. I'm just...
Well, we all like to be stuck in a hard place with Martin. He's here with his family,
Hashtag
Bex.
dirty.
Who needs her dad. You know, she came out through the door, says, "Oh, are you staying, Dad?" And looked, gave him little puppy eyes. And then
you can't be... No. You can't be angry at Bex for that.
I'm not.
Bex...
I thought it was really sweet. And I thought, actually, my heart does go out to you, Bex. Because she's screaming out for, like, please, like, just stay here. I've literally just tried to kill myself. I'm calling out for help, Dad.
Yeah.
Please, could you just stay? And then on the other end, he's got Stacey on the phone with all the kids.
What a cameo vocals from Stacey this week.
She's right on it, didn't she? She record them from home, do you think?
Yeah, on the phone, yeah. So they didn't even have to add the effect of the phone.
Baby needs feeding, but I'll do it quickly. One take wonder, Stacey.
That's why I fed him while she was doing it. She's a young mum.
So that was nice that we actually heard Stacey's voice because they never do that. And they didn't have to do that.
And they didn't have to.
It was nice.
It was, and yes, it linked. It reminded you that Stacey's still there. She still exists. So it kind of made it more real. I mean, there were so many conversations this week.
I think she had 3, didn't she, on her phone?
No, I think it was only
Stacey?
2 with Martin.
Oh, was it?
But what I mean is there's so many conversations with characters this week which felt really real. And there was a really
conversational ones.
Yeah, the conversational conversations. I don't know, it just felt really good. But watching them happen, there was a really good one with Sonia and Martin. And I don't know, I can't remember the scene
and
exactly.
the one between Jean and Martin and Kush? Like they were just randomly chatting.
Oh, I remember now.
Wasn't there?
It's when Kat, Martin and Kush bumped into each other at the hospital. And it was amazing. The writing was... It was like watching two people... It was like you were sat in the waiting area watching these 3 people having a conversation in real life in hospital. Honestly, it was brilliant. Really well done. Kush asked how Bex was. Martin asked how Arthur was. And it was just... I don't know. Just sucked me in. It was a natural conversation.
I love... because we had more like chats between Martin and Kush. Little... BFFs, weren't they, again?
Yeah.
He filled him in like, oh, Ben got shot, this happened. Didn't tell him that Hunter died. Didn't seem to care about that.
Hunter's not that important, really.
No. But yeah, that was nice. It was a little catch up between 2 girls.
Although he should have told him about Hunter because Bex offered to take over Louise's place in the hostage.
Yeah.
So really, that was quite important that she... And again, quite important for the whole scenario of Bex then... Perhaps Bex wanted to get shot by Hunter.
And we have more scenes of them basically informing us how like the system works with they've assessed Bex and she's allowed to go home. But don't worry, she's got like nurses coming in, checking on her, asking her about her mental state and things. And she says that she regrets what she did. Trying to talk in front of Martin and Sonia in the house, which seemed a bit difficult for Bex. I
think she was very open though. She said she felt trapped. She said she saw no exit, no way out other than the route she decided to take ultimately. But
Sonia
now...
still mentions university.
I know. I mean, Sonia, get over it.
Just don't say that word.
She's not going to uni. She should be in fresh this week.
Trigger word.
I know.
University.
It's like a magic word. Like sirens go off every time it's said.
But it was nice. We had a little bit of Kirsty, previously known as Dottie. Showing her more feisty side, but she's just been real.
Well, she quite
laying out how it is.
Yeah, she rightly said that if we were more honest with one another, like I'm trying to be round the breakfast table, the breakfast.
That's good.
Breakfast, yeah, breakfast club.
Oh yeah, no pussyfooting around. She just said it how she is, and I think Bex kind of appreciated it.
I think we all did, really, because Sonia's so difficult to kind of open up with. And yet
she's like
really,
overly mummy-y.
But she doesn't listen either. It's like when she had that conversation last week with Lisa, and Lisa was desperately trying to say to Sonia, are you really listening to what Bex is saying to you? Sonia started talking about something completely different. It was like, oh, sorry, were you saying something, Lisa? So
I've got to go on karaoke, hurry up.
Yeah. I've got Dancing Queen to sing to while my daughter commits suicide. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, that was all with Bex, really. We had a little cameo from Dot. She's still awake
With
every
some
now and then.
stunning glasses, may I say.
Who, Dot?
Yeah, did you not see them?
No. I forgot she's got bad eyesight now, hasn't she?
Yeah, in the story she had cataract.
Oh, yeah. And she drove her car down the wrong way of the motorway.
Yes. It all went off for Dot that week. But yeah, she's got some lovely Stephen Taylor style glasses.
Ooh.
Yeah. Kind of like upside down. So like the bottom rim just touches the bottom of her eyes, and then the top of the rim is going just above her forehead.
I love how she doesn't like people mumbling on film and they're not very good actors. And it's like, June Brown, you're quite the mumbler.
Oh, do you think? I didn't think that.
Yeah, she's quite mumbly, isn't
No,
she, June Brown?
she's
Yes,
very
she
pronounced.
is.
She's got a very unique way of delivering her lines.
No.
Oh, I couldn't disagree with you more.
Her hearing as well. Can't quite hear what they were saying once the subtitles on.
Yeah. Well, Bex was getting a bit wound up. I mean, I think Bex was considering going back upstairs and looking for those pills again at that point because
Dot probably.
Yeah. Just a pillow, just mother her. She was going on a bit about the film. I was a bit sad that we didn't see a clip of the film. This week they made up a TV game show for Lola to watch. Take the money, Lola shouted at the TV to this fake game show.
Yeah, and it didn't look real. They should have shown Danny Dye's new game show, shouldn't they? The Wall.
Oh, yeah.
They're doing meta.
Release the balls. Or Weakest Link. That used to always be their go-to. Whenever they showed like a TV clip on EastEnders, it always used to be the Weakest Link.
They should have shown the one that Arthur went on to.
Oh, Cat and Mouse.
Yeah, they should have had that still be played, the revamp.
With classic TV in the corner.
So talking about Lola and her game shows, let's move on and have a little chat about Martin's involvement with Big Ben this week. So when Lola was shouting at her game shows in the middle of the night, that's when Ben noticed someone gave a little car to Lexi, and it was the same car that obviously he stole from the Panesar brothers. And then he walks outside. That's when he sees Martin for the first time, looking all broody. They
kind of give each other kind of stares, don't they? It's the first time that they've seen each other. So in a long time, after Ben obviously kicked them out of the square by...
And we had all sorts of scenes this week with the two new brothers, which we have a lot to say about. I mean... Another kidnapping in a white van, which we've seen lots of this year. It was even worse than Louise is stuck in a container, I feel.
I loved Louise stuck in the container. That was... Come on, that was...
Yeah, but Lola...
That was camp fun.
Yeah, but this one was just...
But any situation,
so many problems with it all.
Any situation where a character is more loathed in my heart than Lola is going to be a bad situation.
Because it did make Lola look quite good.
I liked, Lola
which
looked
is worrying.
Better. It's unfair to say this to Lola, saying better in comparison, because actually I quite enjoyed Lola as a complete package this week. She was a bit feisty.
First time for everything.
Yeah, she was interesting.
Kicked people in the balls.
Still not a good mum. Just palming off Lexi to Ben,
and always teaching Lexi really bad manners as well. She's pretending she was sick, and Lexi was like, "Yeah, that's fine, I'm busy." But then she was just upstairs, and she made Ben stay home. It didn't make any sense.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, so Lexi was ill, had a bad stomach, blackmailed her dad into giving her £10 by doing something for him. Just keep quiet for £5. No, 10. And yeah, the whole time Lola was busy, inverted commas, but she was upstairs.
Yeah, and then she just came downstairs and took a photo of Ben, so she wasn't busy at all.
And then posted it on social media.
So yeah, very bizarre. I mean, a lot of this storyline is bizarre to me. This whole gangster and cars and money, I hate it. I just hate these storylines all the time. It reminds me of mid-90s EastEnders.
I don't mind
these dodgy car deals. Oh, I hate it.
I hate it more when they have a head honcho, like they have the head of this kind of mafia style outfit.
Kheerat. Is he head
But I don't
honcho?
think he is. No, I don't think he is. I just think that... Well, those saying that, they had that warehouse. They had that 4K TV randomly plugged into an aerial in the middle of the warehouse.
It was so stupid. And the bodyguards were sat on the sofa watching TV.
Homed under the hammer.
And it's like, for God's sake.
Yeah. Do you reckon they were watching Crime Watch live on daytime BBC One?
It was so silly. It was like that awful series of Prison Break where they were in that Mexican prison, and the top dogs of the prison had that cell, and they had a TV, and they were all round with rubbish everywhere. It's like, And he kidnapped Lola, and he had Little Mix playing.
But this is
a bit
Jags.
silly.
So Jags kidnapped. So this is where my hate for Jags continued. So first of all, he was singing to Little Mix in a van.
So you're meant to like feel like, oh, he's funny and lovable.
Yeah, which is what they're already planting that idea into your head now. Like, oh, don't worry, he's a bit dim, so he's not really that bad. Then he takes photographs of Lola while she's walking out the chemist.
Yeah, you're pretty or whatever.
Well, he will also say you'll do, which is just disgusting.
He doesn't even know who she is.
Well, no,
he kidnaps his person.
He saw her leaving Ben's house.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything.
Well, no, exactly.
Men that leave Ben's house could be anyone.
That's true. Although she doesn't look like a postwoman or anything like that, does she? She could be delivering for Amazon, to be fair.
She could have been one of his many one-night stands.
No, because also we know that Ben's...
Yeah, we know that.
Oh, they know. I'm sure most of London knows that Ben...
They've all been there.
Yeah, exactly. He's probably seen them on Grindr, like, already. They're just there. Oh, there's another one. There's Jags. Listening to Little Mix.
I think I'm worried that they're going to set up a Jags and Lola relationship. Although she's with Jay, isn't she? I forgot about that. But I don't care. But they kept like hinting at it. Because she was all feisty and hated him and he hates her. So they'll probably get together.
She need him in the...
Which will make Lola even more detestable if that does happen.
I mean, Lola and Jags would just be an awful couple. What was it? Loags.
See, I don't like Jags. I don't like the kidnapping. I think it was stupid.
Hang on, I haven't finished with Jags yet.
Okay. There is more. Yeah.
There's more. So then he feebly like tries to get Lola into the van, but then later is able to take Ben on his own into the warehouse.
Yeah.
He apologises to Lola, says, "Oh, no hard feelings," thinking,
yeah, like it was just a bit of fun.
Yeah. Oh, ha ha ha. You know, I just kidnapped you. It's like it was. Yeah, like you say, it was like hide and seek or something.
And it was stupid. Like Lola just wasn't bothered. She just got like they undid her hands and she just walked out like nothing happened.
She need him.
Yeah,
and
but like
deal with it.
It was a bit like like an everyday occurrence for Lola. This apparently she wasn't fazed or bothered or upset or.
It probably is an everyday
occurrence. It was so stupid.
Lola probably again goes on the Tinder and probably says, "I enjoy getting tied up."
And also the problem with Ben I've had this week is how his morals don't make sense. Like
they're all over the place, aren't they?
Yeah, because Bex literally tried to kill herself and he was like being all hard to Ben and I don't care, Martin. But then at the same time when they slightly threaten Lexi, he says to Martin, "We've got to do this, we've got to help Lexi, it's my daughter." So they should be relatable on that side.
Well, also Ben showed a caring side when he asked Tubbs to get money from Karen, and then when Lexi came up to him and said, "Oh, look, Karen's made me this lovely jumper, upcycling."
Yeah, well, you know what the writers are doing? They're doing the Ben cares for Lexi, so the audience will have to care for Ben. But really, he's doing way more horrible things.
But he's doing it for, well, on this instance, selfishly, he's doing it for himself and Lexi. Because for his own self-appreciation, he's taking care of Lexi. And he seemed to be quite concerned about Lola as well. It's funny. But do you think he was more concerned about Lola because of Lexi? So he was afraid that he would have to say to Lexi, "Oh yeah, your mum, she's not coming home tonight.
Yeah, I should actually bring you up now."
Yeah, I'm going to have to look after you.
But also the thing with Martin doesn't really make sense, how he has this spanner. But like Phil doesn't seem to care. The police aren't really looking for anyone.
No, it's the case has been wrapped up. But then I suppose it can reopen. I guess.
Yeah, but they could just say Ben told us to. He stood over Phil and watched him, and then they'll both they could easily double bluff Ben.
I think you're right.
And also like the fact that at the end of the week he double crossed Martin and says, "I've got a recording of you," and then Martin phones Stacey and says, "You can't come home." But like, why can't?
Well, no, Stacey can come home.
Martin needs the one to go.
But then maybe would Ben then lean on Stacey if Martin was then the one?
Yeah, Stacey would just hit him.
Yeah, with the spanner. We'll all be going round in circles again. I mean, that spanner...
So there's so many like things that like are a bit silly with this.
Loose ends don't quite match up. No, I do. I agree.
The first like dud of the new era. Like, I've just felt like, oh really?
I think
there's a lot of holes here.
They're desperately trying to shoehorn characters in the most dramatic way they can.
Yeah, but like these brothers have been added. We said we didn't really need them last week, but there's that Daniel Hardcastle from earlier who put Louise in the container and his gang. Why couldn't this gang be the same gang?
Yeah, because they could still be seeking revenge, even though they've been threatened to not try that again. Yeah, it would make good sense for that to be the case. And also they announced Daniel Hardcastle as if he was going to be this more full-time character and just never really came to fruition.
We've just got these two brothers who are kind of unlikable. Kheerat seems quite cool.
Kheerat is great, and I don't have a word said against him.
Why is he great? Don't say because he looks pretty.
No, it's not just that. Why? He dresses well. He doesn't wear socks. I've already discussed this last week.
Well, compared to Jags, I guess he just looks amazing.
He's a much... I don't... This sounds awful. He's a much more... He's already a rounded character. You can get... He's quite threatening.
Although it was a bit stupid when he was like, "What are you doing, Jags? We don't take women."
Oh, yeah,
and then
that was
threatens Lexi to Ben.
Yeah.
Which is a female and a child.
Yeah, so we don't kidnap women, but children, they're fair game. Let's take one of them.
Female children, that's fine.
Yeah, just do it. But he's you can tell that he's got some kind of, not an empire, but some kind of control here, and so he's someone to look out for. Well, Jags is just I don't know. He's like the.
Well, what we said last week, we said he's Minty / fat boy / Gary Hobbs, and that's exactly what he is.
Yeah.
Rubbish. But Ben does give the spanner back to Martin, but also double crosses him, and that's when he has a recording of Martin stealing the car. So Martin is still Ben's pawn in this game. Martin's stuck with Ben still at the moment. No, Stacey can't come home, and the trouble continues.
I mean, this time at least he has something which is quite criminal, so he can use it against Martin. And I did forget that Martin had been in prison recently.
He's got previous.
Yeah, because I said to you, I don't think they're going to do anything too nutty. Although the police did go to... Well, first of all, because Martin had been double-crossed, he did get quite angry with Ben and kind of give him quite a beating. There's another beating for Ben. Yeah, his little soft head.
There isn't one character who hasn't hit him, is there? Ian, maybe?
Arshad hasn't.
That's true.
Yet. But yeah, and so and in the beating, though, he brings up a real blast on the past history.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I should have thrown you off that bridge when I had the chance. And made fun of him. You wet your pants when I was at the top of there. And it was like, wow. It's like, I completely forgot that Martin did that.
Yeah, and that, Martin thought, I've done it here. But no, Ben was like doing his things. He got a reef made pretty quickly, saying Fowler on it. Which
was in poor taste. And Ben didn't really think it through very well.
Again, Ben... We've been saying this for a year. Ben, he tries to be this hard man, does something, and then realises, oh wait, actually that doesn't really work. And again...
But again, it's his character trait. And again, they wrote it in perfectly. So he did this nasty thing, not thinking that Bex had tried to commit suicide, so perhaps the connotations are more related to that.
Bex Fowler.
Yeah, he said to him, it says Fowler, yeah, that's my daughter, you blooming idiot.
Should have got one that said Martin, if you want to be that clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just done like a big pineapple reef to show his fruit and veg store.
But yeah, that's where we are for them. And not much more to say, really. I'm just deeply upset by the storyline this week.
Why are you upset?
It was rubbish and stupid and ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, I think after they did the scene with I just can't get my head around the spanner of how that was incriminating. Because it really wasn't.
From the second Lola was kidnapped to when Lola was let free, all of that was just a load of ridiculous rubbish in the middle for me.
Oh, so you quite like the kidnap bit?
No.
In the warehouse?
No, all of that.
Including
that? Yeah, all of that.
Oh.
Rubbish.
Do you think it's because of Jags? I'm just
going
to blame Jags.
I don't like the cars. I don't like 10k now, tomorrow. I don't like all this.
The Kheerat and Jags story is kind of finished now. He's paid his debt off. He got Martin to steal the car. They gave it to him. Done.
Yeah,
wiped clean. But that's the
Ben
funny
will want
thing.
his revenge.
Yeah, but what, to
Kheerat? You embarrassed me. You embarrassed the Mitchell name. It would be all that rubbish.
Yeah, but Ben was genuinely frightened of them. This was a really weird...
Or was he turned on by them?
Maybe.
Like all of us were.
But no, he was genuinely quite frightened by them. The fact he made Martin go into the warehouse to do the job for him. Don't you think that's really odd? It's like Ben did that to him. So do you think Martin will get Jags and Kheerat on his side?
No, they're going to have a rivalry, aren't they? Mitchell's versus the...
No, Martin gets them on his side against Ben.
No, Martin's not clever enough for that. He's Arthur Fowler, isn't he? He ain't got a clue.
True.
He needs to go to his allotment and do some digging and chill out.
Okay, fair enough.
Right, we're going to move on now quickly to our game, and then we've got the rest of the week to chat about. Right, are you ready for your first test since our summer break?
Yes, I am. I'm ready. I've got my thinking cap on. I'm ready to go. I've got the spirit of Libby inside of me.
Well, this is Libby Fox's Degree of Excellence, where I ask you 4 multiple choice questions, 1 from each episode of the week.
I'm missing Freshers Week for this, Ben.
No, it's fine. Get to university. You can do it. Right, so you ready? Multiple choice, and I'm asking you inane questions from things that happened during the episodes.
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay, right, so question 1. What was Daniel waiting for at the cafe when Rainie was working? Kept shouting out to her, I'm waiting for this.
Very impatient.
Was it A, coffee, B, tea, C, slice of cake, or D, a sandwich?
I'm trying to think what he was complaining about. I do remember. He says something like, "Oh, I'm really choking on this dry slice of cake, this imaginary slice of cake." I think he says. So I'm going to say C, slice of cake.
C, cake is correct.
Oh, ding, 1 point.
Right, question 2. What were the guys watching on TV when Lola was taken hostage? Was it A, a football match? Was it B, a music video? Was it C, a home makeover show? or D, a period drama?
What? No. It was a game show, wasn't it?
No, no. I thought Lola was watching.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so...
What were those, the two mob guys on that sofa in that warehouse?
Oh, what were they watching
What were
in
they
the
watching?
warehouse?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay, right. So, it was... I think it was a home makeover show. I just remember thinking it looked like a BBC daytime show.
So C, home makeover show?
Yeah, I'm going
Not
with
a
that.
period drama?
No, it wasn't a period... No, period drama would be an evening show. Unless they've got a DVD box set. Well, I was amazed they had an aerial in
Not
there,
a
to be
football
honest
game?
with you. No, it couldn't have been a football game. They could not have hooked up satellite or cable television in that warehouse. If they
Could
have,
have.
I mean, they could be watching a DVD, I guess, of the best of season for certain football team, generic number 1. No, I'm going to stick to home makeover show. Because I think that's the kind of show they'd watch. A bit of changing rooms.
Well, they need to do it in that warehouse, don't
They
they?
certainly do. Yeah, they're getting
tips.
ideas. Yeah, tips.
So that is correct.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. It was a Punjabi makeover show which they were watching. So there you go.
I didn't know specifically Punjabi.
Yeah, you could hear them. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You could hear them. Okay.
Right, so question 3. This is the third episode of the week. So what did baby Abby have for breakfast when Kathy looked after her?
God's sake.
Was it A, 2 eggs and an orange? She loves oranges.
That's a lot for a baby.
Was it 2 bowls of porridge and a pear? She loves a pear. Was it 2 rashers of bacon and a banana? She loves bananas. Or was it D, 2 bottles of milk and an apple? She loves apples.
I mean, 2 of any of those things seems like quite a lot for a baby. Although it's not baby Abby, it's toddler
That
Abby,
is true.
trademark. I'm going to go for the porridge.
What would Kathy make?
I reckon Kathy would make porridge from scratch. She wouldn't go for that oats in the microwave rubbish. And she'd have that with, was it a banana?
A pear, that was. The banana
Oh.
was 2 batches of bacon.
She would never give bacon, a salty snack like that, to a child. I don't think she gives that to her son anymore, since his diabetes.
What about scrambled eggs and orange?
I don't think a child should be given scrambled eggs. I mean, I've never looked after a child.
Should a child be given any fruit at that age, really? To
I think
munch
a
it all up
pear's
herself?
okay. If they've got a couple of
Oh.
teeth, they can gnaw into it. But the porridge is still soft and squidgy enough for them to kind of just, sup on it. So I'm gonna stick with that and say porridge and a pear.
So B, 2 bowls of porridge and a pear.
2 bowls seems a lot though.
That is correct.
Oh, okay.
That's what Kathy gave her. Very hungry
Porridge,
baby.
That's a lot of food for a baby. I mean, I couldn't eat that in the morning. That's ridiculous.
She's a growing girl. Right, question 4 and the final question. You could get a home run here.
I know. I'm really doing well.
What was the club called that Gray got in a fight at?
Oh, boo. Okay.
Did you hear Jack's mumbling correctly?
What would
Was it-
Dot say?
Was it A, Dart Nightclub?
Darts.
Dart Nightclub.
D-A-R-T-S.
D-A-R-T Nightclub.
Okay, darts.
What I've got written down.
Yeah.
B, Midnight Club.
That's
C,
naughty.
Fareham Nightclub.
Fareham.
Yeah. Or D, Zone Nightclub. Where would Gray go?
Midnight Club seems a bit seedy for a Grey. Fareham nightclub, as in Portsmouth, Fareham.
I don't know, it's just what he said.
Well, no, did he say Fareham?
I can't confirm or deny nothing.
Fareham doesn't sound right. Fareham sounds specific to the location of Fareham. Because why would you say in what conversation would you say that's a Fareham? No, not Fareham. I think it's either Dart or Zone.
Was Gray in the zone?
Or
was he
being shot by
bullseye?
Dart.
Was it Midnight Club?
It wasn't Midnight Club. Midnight Club's such a cheesy name. If someone ever texted me and said, "Oh, would you fancy going to Midnight Club tonight?" I'd be like, "No."
Grey
on
would.
principle, the name's rubbish. No, he wouldn't. I'm gonna say, oh, please be right. Zone.
So D, Zone
Nightclub.
That is incorrect.
Oh.
The correct answer was A, Dart Nightclub.
Oh. Damn it!
Dear.
I was gonna say Dart.
You were, but you didn't.
Can we re-record this,
No.
please?
If St Anne's were pots and pans, you wouldn't need a tinker, says Lou Bill.
That is true.
Can't go back.
Can I quickly drop a promo
For
while
what?
we're here? Keep listening to the show, guys, because later on there'll be an opportunity for you to win a prize this Christmas when I'll be asking you a question about what happened on this week's show.
Oh,
So, yeah.
so taking my game.
I did it last week.
I did this last year.
Yeah, no, that's true. But last week there was a question, and there'll be another one this week.
Well, you got 3 out of 4 correct.
Okay.
So, what's that? A Louise Mitchell out of a bet.
No. out of a Bex. Bex hasn't gone to university.
That's true.
I'd say
it's gone down the list now.
Yeah, I'd say it was a
Dottie? A Kirsty Branning?
No, I'd say it was a Bernie leaving a chess game a bit early.
To help Ted's heart attack.
Yeah, basically.
Well, there you go. That was another riveting edition of Libby Fox's Degree of Excellence.
Now it's time for another opportunity for you to win a piece of EastEnders Weekly merch, which you can find on our website bit.ly/EEWmerch. Each week I shall be giving a new question, and if you answer the question by replying to our Twitter, Instagram or by email, you'll get one free entry into the prize draw, which will be picked at the end of the year. This week the question is, why can't Kat go to Daniel Cook's memorial with Jean? Is it A, she has the Vic's toilets to clean, B, she has to go to Tommy's assembly, or C, she's keeping an eye on Mo to keep her out of trouble? If you know the answer, reply to us on Twitter @EastEndersWeek, on Instagram @EastEndersWeekly Podcast, or email, just put in the title Competition 2, eastendersweekly@gmail.com with your answer. You can enter up to 3 times each week, so give it a go, and you may win a piece of EastEnders merch, which you can also visit bit.ly.eewmerch and find some for yourself. We sell t-shirts, hats, mugs, and even dog scarves. So visit bit.ly/EEWmerch, and don't forget to enter the competition. A new question will be out next week. Good luck.
Well, Granny Smack was back with full force this week, literally giving Rainie smack.
Yes, I know, she's moved on. She's gone to the much, much harder stuff now.
Apparently the Albert has a drug problem, which we didn't know about.
Well, this basically answers the question we've been asking for weeks, which is, what is Tina running away from after she got the order wrong with Kathy at the Albert? And the reason she was running away is because she knew that the Albert had a drug
the police
problem.
had been to her, and didn't bother telling Kathy.
And didn't bother telling Kathy. Why was she hiding this?
Rubbish.
Yeah, but why was she hiding this from Kathy? What was she hiding? Is this a new story where Tina's addicted to something?
I don't know.
It's so confusing though.
All it says to me is that the reason Tina stayed with her job in the Vic for so long was because it was family.
Well, she kept her job for so long.
Yeah, that's what I mean. She's been manager of the Albert. She messed up the first launch night and Kim had to take over. She still kept her job somehow.
She messed up quite a lot.
The orders.
Yeah.
Now she's not even told her about a drug problem that the police have been investigating. Didn't tell Kathy.
Yeah. So that's 3 strikes.
Useless.
Bring back Kim. Let Kim be the manager of the club. She was doing a wonderful job. Well, no, Kathy's busy. She's just hopping from one job to the next. She's now got baby Abby.
Full-time babysitter, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. She's got to look after Rainie, making sure everything's okay with her.
I mean, lots of mistakes for Kathy this week. Again, for the 3rd week in a row. It's making me very hard to root for my Kath, but I'm still going to root for her. She's trying her hardest.
I think she's just doing too much. Yep, it's all too much is happening to her at once. She's taking the responsibility of the world on her shoulders. Plus
she still looks younger than Max.
Yeah.
So that's taking up a lot of time.
She confided quite heavily in Max this week, didn't she? A very strange partnership between them two.
Very trusting. And it's all going back and forth between them all. But Rainie's lying to Stuart because she's taking pills still.
And drinking.
Well, kind of drinking, but not.
Yeah.
But he's proud of her and he's supportive of her. So she did feel guilty, so she got rid of the drink.
The vodka.
Because she had a trial day at the cafe.
But again,
very
Ian,
Donna Ludlow, that was.
Yeah, wasn't Ian a horrible guy?
Yeah.
Like, nothing
redeeming.
Yeah, no.
Pete Bill.
Yeah, he's his father's son. He just doesn't.
Which is the worst thing you could possibly be.
Completely.
Oh, so yeah, he was just horrible. Like, purposely horrible as well. Like, Rainie, to be fair, Rainie was there on her own. It was busy. She didn't really have any training or anything. And he was just walked out on her.
Didn't know about the extra mugs in the cupboard. He kept that one a little secret, didn't he?
Yeah.
Although you would look around your cooking area.
Busy woman. She had cake to bake.
Yeah, but she was busy because she kept washing up all the mugs that she kept using.
So it reminded me of Donna Ludlow because Donna kept asking for a trial there, didn't she, at the time? But they never gave her the chance. And I think that's why Kathy said to Ian, no, let's give her a chance, actually. But she blew it.
Well, she also wanted a job with her mum, didn't she? She wanted to work on the knitting store with Kathy.
And
although
I just said Rainie blew it. She didn't actually. Ian just randomly said you're not getting paid. Even though
Rainie did a perfectly good job. She did do a pretty good job.
You can't just not pay her.
No, I mean, okay, there were a few plates that hadn't been picked up, and there was a few,
That's
it looked
normal.
I was going to say, on a busy day, who knows how busy it was? And if she was left on her own as well to run the cafe, like no one's superhuman like Kathy.
Yeah, Kathy can do it.
Yeah.
Although I've noticed the cafe walls have got mud up them. When she was sitting in her booth.
Yeah, there's more than just that. They've really mucked up the cafe a bit. There's the slashes in the seating booths as well. Yeah, the tables look like they've the cloth on top has been ripped off because it looked like it'd been glued on. It's been ripped off.
Really?
Yeah.
So go.
No, I like it. That's a bit of realism to it. I reckon Kate Oates just went in there one evening when everyone had gone home and just like, right, I'm destroying the hell out of this place. Started throwing muck at the wall.
She did a typical EastEnders trash a room scene on her own.
Yeah, exactly. Got a buyer out, started drawing dirty cartoons on the walls.
Oh, but yeah, horrible cafe. The Albert's got drugs, but they keep the drugs in the safe, which was... I thought this was a bit of a random storyline, but it linked into the Rainie storyline eventually, because these drugs that the police keep for like the week and then collect them all at once, Kathy helped herself.
Yeah, she did.
To a baggie.
A few dabs, you know. Maybe that's why she's so lively. Maybe that's how she keeps up.
Yeah. Are the police not going to wonder where that bag went? Surely they have record of everything they kept in that safe.
I don't think they would keep a record. No, they just throw it in the safe. You can, I mean, she's probably meant to keep a record, but then she could just...
She didn't know about it.
Just get a pen and cross
also,
it out.
how did she not know about all the drugs in the safe? Did she not look in the safe ever?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
What's these bags?
Who runs the Albert? Who actually runs the Albert?
No one. The gays.
Yeah,
it runs itself.
It runs itself. Like the door's just left open 24/7 and people just come and go in and out. It's like there's an honesty box like in the corner. So like if you get yourself a drink, just pop £1 in there, you'll be fine.
But Kathy's like many mistakes. She gave the bag of drugs to Rainie and said, if you're not an addict still, prove yourself. Because she saw her tip the bottle of vodka away, but she thought she'd drunk it.
Yes.
But she hadn't. She's jumping to conclusions again.
Can I just say also that Kathy had only just found out about the drug problem in the Albert the same day she gave the drugs to Rainie. So did they collect those drugs on the same day? Because you think drugs would be more pushed in the evening?
No, I'd just been there for a few days in the safe. She just hadn't looked in.
Also, I'm insulted that the one place that has the worst drug problem in the whole of Walford is a gay nightclub.
That we know of.
I find that insulting.
The Vic had it last year, though, with Aidan.
That's true. Yeah, but that was because of Aidan. That was one specific
Aidan's
problem.
Still around. He used to own the Albert, remember?
Yeah, oh, maybe.
Might be the same drug
maybe
man.
He's the one pushing him. Yeah, he's the one got it all set up.
Yeah.
Aidan's going to come back and have Kathy in his sight.
Kathy and Aidan should date.
Yeah, that'd be
a super
hot.
couple.
Yeah, they would. I'd like that. I'd watch that.
But no, Rainie's like tells Stuart, I'm clean. Kathy's done this. Look what Kathy's done.
I'm clean.
Yeah. So he goes in, nearly strangles Kathy.
Who's Stuart?
Yeah.
Yeah, Stuart was
evil.
Really well. Again, what are you meant to think about Stuart? It's really tricky, isn't it?
He's still unhinged, isn't he?
He's still got that dark side to him. But he got really angry toward Kathy. But then when Max says a few nasty home truths to Rainie, he doesn't do the same.
Stand up as much.
He doesn't stand up to him. And really, Max is the one who needs a good
smack. Yeah, I'd help that. But yeah, he strangles Kathy and threatens her. But then we also get the true side of Rainie, because her hair's all frizzy still. She's not straightening it. Her straightener's broken.
Yeah, she needs a bottle of frizzies in the shower.
But no, she's actually smoking a crack pipe, which is quite extreme. From her painkillers for her ribs to this.
It really has escalated, hasn't it? It's escalated quite quickly. Yeah, so...
Yeah, that's not good. Now she's on that. It's not an easy thing to get off that.
But again, is that crack she's bought herself, or was that something she kept?
I think that's she kept from the baggie that Kathy gave her.
Kathy, yeah.
So once again, Kathy's unknowingly...
Given her...
Well, knowingly.
Yeah. But she was testing her, wasn't she? She said that...
And she failed.
But Kathy doesn't know that. But again, it's because of Max. This has kind of all started. Max is playing.
He married her in the first place.
Well,
his fault.
Not as far back as that.
Yeah, his fault.
Okay, fair enough. But Max is very clever at planting the idea onto people and then just watching.
Standing back.
Yeah, and watching the fireworks go off around him. I mean, this must be his plan, because I think he's thinking that the only way he's going to get Rainie out of his life is by basically getting her back on the drugs. And he kind of says...
Addict's an addict.
Exactly. He says that to Kathy, doesn't he? An addict is an addict. And eventually she'll at some point she'll slip up. But Kathy decided to put it upon herself to manufacture this slip up early on.
Yeah. She's trying to do good, where Max has just written her off. And Max, he should be sympathetic. He was imprisoned for a year. He was self-harming. He should know what it's like to be low. But no, once again, Max, he's top.
Also, where's Ruby? Is Ruby helping out?
Ruby had a pen on her face this week, and that was it. That's all we saw of Ruby.
Yeah, she Charlie Chaplin'd. I mean, again, Ruby's just kind of been the Ruby and Max story. I thought this was going to be I don't know, I thought there'd be more to it than there actually was.
She was interviewed at Inside Soap magazine. It's Inside Soap Awards, not a spoiler, because literally there's literally nothing happening with Ruby, where even the actress couldn't pick it up. So like the woman kept asking her like, so what's going to happen with you and Max? And she was like, yeah, I think there's going to be lots of twists and turns there.
Oh, that's just a generic answer.
And then she was like, oh well, what else is going to have Ruby get up to? And she was like, it's great being back. It's like being a family. I'm really enjoying it. And it's like, come on, give us a bit more love. But she couldn't. She just kept saying that. And she said, I think she's going to go to and from lots of different guys and be her own woman and stuff. And it's like, this is the most generic sentences I've ever heard. Like, there's nothing coming up, I don't think, for Ruby. So
I mean, if you're not getting the call to the executive producer's office
to be fired.
No. If you're not getting the call, I think it's
slow. We've got the storyline for you.
Yeah, it's a slow burn death, isn't it?
But yeah, I mean, even the woman interviewing her, she said, because you and Max aren't together anymore. She was like, oh, I think we are.
I think we are.
Yeah, and it's like, that's the same as us. Are they together? We have no idea.
I mean, to say I think they are, knowing full well that her also she's had a script and she's about, 2-3 months ahead of us?
Christmas they're filming right now.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, but
Ruby.
I think Ruby's on the cards for unemployment. Get her P45 on the way out. But
she said she's been filming some scenes with Danny Dyer, which has been fun. So...
Again, quite generic though.
Yeah.
I could say that. You could ask me when I come home from work one day, what have you been doing today, Alex? And I'll say, I've just been filming some scenes with Danny Dyer. It's been fun. It'll be fine.
So yeah, Ruby's a bit empty at the moment, but we've got...
Empty vessel.
Yeah, we've got Rainie, who's just on a downward spiral, which who knows if she's ever going to get out of it. Like when she's clean, she's quite a businesswoman. She's all smart and dressed. She has all those smart dresses.
I know, it's such a shame, because I really... was excited about Rainie coming back because I do like the character Rainie, but I don't like the character Rainie when she's so desperate and low. Don't get me wrong, the actress is amazing, she played the part excellently, but
the character's fun when she had her head on her, but she was still like quite horrible to characters. She was a bit feisty,
and she was feisty with Stuart as well. And now the fact that she's like, she had that kind of relationship with Stuart, which was a bit dangerous. And now the fact that...
It's just a bit damp, squib.
Yeah, she's just now reliant on Stuart. It just doesn't feel the same. It was nice when they were both almost as...
crazy as each other.
Yeah, as crazy as one another. And so they were kind of bouncing off each other's derangement. And so they were able to be exciting.
It makes me wonder what Stuart will be like when he finds out that Rainie's been lying to him and she is like an addict again.
Oh, I think he'll drop her to the curb.
Yeah, but will he like have that unhinged moment and take something out on her, or get rid of her, or say... Don't know how he'll react to that. So that could be interesting, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, he's being lied to, and that's one thing Stuart doesn't like, isn't it? Stuart does not like to be played as a fool, and I guess you could look at it that way too. Maybe he's being played by Rainie, and that's not something Stuart's very keen on.
No. Yes, very exciting. Right, so moving on to our last story of the week, which is R.I.P. to Daniel Cook. He's died.
Or has he?
I do think it was a bit sudden when she just got that phone call and there's like, Daniel's dead. It's like, oh, that was the most pointless character I've ever seen. But seems like there could be a bit more to him. Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if this means that we're going to see Daniel again in the future.
That's what I was wondering.
But he basically fakes his own death and has a memorial. Where does he have that memorial?
In Wolford.
Yeah,
we've never seen him
in the
before.
Community Centre. He's never been in Wolford his whole life. I mean, at least they didn't try to make out that he has been kind of hovering around. Like, I remember this market when Pete Bill used to work here, or something like that. At least they've kind of made out that he did. I suppose he did it. He did say, and he admitted he did the memorial for Jean. It was a way of not hurting her because he didn't want her to see him die.
Because they kissed last week, didn't they? And then you find out he didn't actually die, but he wanted Jean to him to die now before she got too attached to him in a weird way.
Yeah, he's fallen in love with her and he knows that she's fallen in love with him, and he thinks it's a dangerous thing to basically have these emotions with one another, and he's offloaded his advice to her, which is basically, don't let people walk on you. Sometimes it's okay to give people a few home truths, to be honest with them. And Jean did do her first one this week when she said to Kush about Chantelle. So she's taking his advice, heeding it. And he just doesn't want her to see him waste away and disappear and remember him for what he becomes rather than what he still is. Yeah, which is kind of sweet. But at the same time, Jean's had such a difficult few months, and really I think Daniel's support was the thing that was kind of keeping her going.
But this hurt that she's feeling now, she would have been feeling it like within a few months anyway, I guess. So what he's done is cut the strings early.
But the question
on
is,
his terms. He likes doing things on his terms.
That's true.
He?
That's true. He's very, very much that kind of guy. The question is though, will he bump into her again? Because obviously he's not going to go anywhere.
That's what I'm thinking. Because even if they do, they'll just have to have, because he's going to die. Like that's been confirmed. That he's been to doctors, nurses. We've seen it on screen. So like even if he does come back into a life, we're going to have this memorial again. So I don't know if that is it. Is that the way Daniel leaves? Like we just don't ever hear.
Yeah, it might be in the newspaper, mightn't it, that if Daniel dies again. So it'd be a bit like when Kat died, KS by Mo. She'll put like a cheap advertisement in the newspaper.
But even the neighbour which found him wasn't real. He paid him.
I don't know if he was an actor or not, though. I think it was a friend, but I think he paid. I think so, because the way they were talking between Daniel and the guy, his neighbour,
like they'd known each other.
They knew each other.
Yeah,
there was that. I'm surprised in Daniel a little bit because I know Daniel's a very perceive himself as being quite self-confident, able to look after himself. But we saw the scenes last week when he was with the doctor and Jean basically had to speak for him because he was getting frustrated and flustering over his words of him saying, I want to die on my own terms. And I think I've just got a feeling that something's going to happen, that Daniel's going to need Jean's help again. And so she's going to hear from him one last time. I don't think it's going to be a bump into one another scenario where Jean's like, I thought you were dead. More, he's going to get in touch with her because something...
What could he need, though? Maybe when he's actually like on his last week or something, he might be like, "Oh, actually, I want Jean here" or something. Maybe he'll get her into the hospice or something. Maybe. I do think it was a shame though, because I quite liked Daniel. Again, I'm a bit biased because I love Adrian Abramson and I love his past characters in comedies. But that picture of Daniel, though, was amazing. It was hilarious. Like the funeral.
Yeah, he looked like a rabbit in headlights. That picture he took of him in his little bow tie. I want a photo just like that when I die. I just want to make that clear right now.
If anyone turns up.
Wow.
You might be like Daniel. He got to see you turn up to his. Very lucky.
Well, he had a few people. Considering he hurt a lot of people along the way, he had quite a turnout for his funeral.
Although he did spot a few people who he said hated him, so he was surprised that they were there. But yeah, it'd be interesting. And I kind of think that maybe it'd be quite cool if that was the last we saw of him, and just don't know when he dies.
I think we will hear from him at least once more. Like you said, maybe an article in a newspaper or something.
Maybe she'll get like a Christmas card, like from X or something.
From the grave.
No, but like from him, but he's not signed it, but he's had to send it or something like that. Or maybe when he does die, he's left in his actual will something for Jean. So all of a sudden something will arrive for
a
her.
Windfall. They do like the windfalls on EastEnders, don't they? They like characters who suddenly get £5,000 out of the
She can
blue.
compare it to a Dot with Dr. Leg, can't she?
Yeah, well,
who did better.
Dot's a millionaire. She's got houses to buy, glasses to try on.
She's got cancer houses to buy.
Yeah. Do you think that they might bring him back for Halloween week? He'll be a ghost and Jean will be like, oh.
He'll turn up and she'll think he's a ghost in her weird ways. Maybe that would be creepy.
And a bit silly.
Yeah, but that's EastEnders at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's all fun.
There you go. That was the week all wrapped up in a little package.
Exciting. I think we've got a little bit of time to read out a few comments and find out who won the week.
We have.
You know me, I ain't one to gossip.
So it's the part at the end of the show where we discuss who had won the week on our Twitter, Facebook and Instagram poll. We're not ones to gossip, Ben, but we like to read out other people's gossip on our social medias as well. So we read out some of your comments that you sent to us throughout the week. But before we do any of that, we like to go into Ben's time hole and find out who won previous weeks in EastEnders on the Square of Wolford.
Yeah, come out the other end. That's what I like to do. More youthful and better looking.
Is your time hole a fountain of youth?
Kathy goes in there regularly.
Does she have a visitor's pass to her time hole, an annual pass?
Right, so a few birthdays this week.
You didn't say if Kathy has an annual pass.
I'm not telling you, it's a secret between me and Kathy. A few birthdays. 11th of October 1959, we had Carmel Jackson born.
You wouldn't think she was that old. So how old was she when she was in EastEnders then? 59?
She's born in the 60s. Carmel.
Sorry, I'm thinking of
Original Carmel, not Shaquille's.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. 1959.
Yeah.
So she was in her 30s almost, her late 20s when she was dating
she dated Calvin and she was 18 or 17.
I never understood that. In the classic EastEnders episodes when like the really young people, like Trevor fancied...
Like 14-year-olds.
Yeah, fancied the 15-year-old girl. But it seemed perfectly acceptable. Yeah, why not? What else can you do in the 80s?
Right, 13th of October 1993, Nancy Carter.
Oh,
So Mick's
Nancy.
daughter wasn't mentioned this week.
That's a shame.
Yeah,
She's happily married now, isn't she, with Tamwa in Australia?
that's true. And another one which wasn't mentioned, Lola. I know she was a bit busy this week getting kidnapped, but Jay Brown's birthday was on the 8th of October.
Oh.
1994 he was born. God.
You think that you could see her like walking up and down the market looking for a present? Someone
Yeah,
could just
when
make a passing
when
comment.
she got kidnapped, she could have been buying him a present, maybe.
Yeah. What market stall? Maybe it's Maggie's market stall.
Or her sex stall.
Yeah, it's
That
very
we know
it's a
undercover.
very young relationship, isn't it? So maybe Jay would want something off Maggie's stall.
And the last birthday was Billy Jackson, which is why I'm leaving him till last. He was born on 15th of October 1988. And the episode that I watched this week was the 11th of October 2010, was when he died.
Oh,
So I'm morbid that way.
and do you know whose fault it was why he died?
Vodkas.
It was vodka's fault, but do you know who gave him the vodka?
Yes. She had a fringe at the time.
Lauren Branning.
Mm.
That's who. So anyone who says, "Oh, Lauren Branning, oh, bring her back, she's lovely, oh, she'd be great to be back," just remember she killed someone.
She laughed as well when they told her Billy had died.
Mm.
She laughed in Carol's face.
Yeah.
Like a nervous laugh, but it was still a bit like, really?
Disrespectful.
Yeah, really disrespectful.
Considering she knew that the reason she was visiting the Jacksons on that day was because
Something had happened.
they were showing respect, exactly.
Mm.
So yeah, think twice about Lauren.
It was a very good episode, though. I won't go into it. We're running low on time, but very good episode.
The scene when she
Powerhouse.
finds out when she's walking back from the betting shop.
Mm.
I looked over your shoulder and I could see you watching that, and that was a very powerful scene. Yeah, strongly recommend it. I'm sure it's on YouTube if people dig it out. Have a look.
Yeah, I put a clip on our Twitter as well for everyone to watch.
And also, it's a very strange time for EastEnders because there were two characters with the same name.
Who?
Billy Mitchell.
Oh, yeah,
and
Billy and Billy.
Jackson.
That's why they killed one, you see.
That's what I reckon as well.
They always do that.
Why couldn't it have been Mitchell? So thank you very much, Ben. It's time for Who Won the Week. As I say, we give you 4 stories and you choose the one that you liked the most from the week. And the 4 options were Daniel's Memorial,
Yeah, good twist.
Rainie's Rebound.
No, Kathy's, no. I don't mention that anymore.
You don't like Granny Smack.
No.
Taylor,
Can't cope.
Taylor Family Trauma.
Oh, that's boring, though.
I was surprised by the outcome of that one. And originally, the next one was called Fowler Flawed. However, thanks to @JamieColemanT on Twitter, he quite rightly said that it should be called Fowler Flowered.
Oh, yeah,
because of the reef.
Yeah.
So well done, Jamie Coleman T. You get a
You got
gold
a job
star.
co-presenting.
I was going to say, do you want to swap with me? Because you probably
Have a week off.
I was going to say I need a week off. I can feel something coming on in my throat. So
So can Ballum. Callum.
Hashtag Ballum. So who do you think won the week out of those 4 stories?
Martin, sexy Martin.
Yeah,
Really is doing things to me this week, which I can't cope
You have a
with.
thing for Martin Fowler.
No, it's really strange.
You posted at least 2 or 3 times how you anyway, we've discussed this already. We don't need to discuss again. So yes, Fowler Flowered
Oh yeah, that's me.
came first with 40% of the vote.
Fowler deflowered.
Yeah, I bet you would. It wasn't Stacey on the end of that phone. It was you putting on that husky voice. Daniel's Memorial came second with 32% of the vote. I'm really
because
pleased
of the
that came
twist,
second.
probably.
I think it's a twist, but also I think the Jean and Daniel story, they could genuinely, from the comments I've seen on Twitter, people want more from it. So I think that might be why they had the twist. I don't know. Could it have been a last minute afterthought?
No.
Anyway, third came Rainie's Rebound at 15%, and final was Taylor Family Trauma. I mean, I'm a bit surprised because of that, in my mind, included the Gray and Chantelle story as well.
Yeah,
So,
but it was... Yeah.
Anyway, thank you very
The
much.
worst was the Pananza brothers. What are they called? Pananzas?
Pananza.
Them. They were the worst, but they went on the pole, so...
Well, that's why they went on there. No one cared. So, a few comments. Thank you again for everyone who commented on our social medias. I'll read out where you can find us at the end of the show. So, first of all, in relation to Jags and Kheerat, because you just mentioned them, I might as well start with them. Richard Gold on Facebook said, I'm going to give them some more time to see how they develop and to see what the bigger story is going to be. But right now, at this very early stage, they seem like the first big misstep of the Oaks and Sen era. And pretty unnecessary when the cast was otherwise in great shape overall.
I agree. The next 3 weeks of spoilers have like the same storyline, by the way. The car stuff.
Oh, okay.
3 weeks of it.
Well,
I feel we have.
Should have said a spoiler alert there.
I don't know what it is. I just know that it's general car things that upsets me.
Well, if you like spoilers, don't forget to check out our spoilers on our YouTube channel.
I won't be doing them because they'll be about cars.
Amy Gillespie on our Facebook, again about Jags, says, Jags does strike me as a bit of a wally, but we will probably all end up loving him sooner or later, just like I have with Stuart. But I did appreciate his cheeky little sing-along to Little Mix. I'm glad you did, Amy, because I certainly did not.
No, it made me hate him more because he's going to be a two-dimensional cartoon character. I can see it.
It's worrying already, isn't it? At Mia_Clur, sorry if I've mispronounced that, but she's on Twitter and she's written, I doubt many will vote for Daniel's memorial against anything else we've seen this week, but I would like to say that I will miss Adrian Edmondson as Daniel. Him and Jean would have been a great couple together. Just to note, she was watching a rugby match, so she then later told me that she didn't realise that Daniel wasn't dead after all.
But the relationship might be.
Absolutely. We were talking about Dot's glasses as well on Twitter, and at GordyGeorge88 says, like a Cockney Ina Sharples meets Elsie Tanner, Dot rocking the look. She's worn those glasses once before, just after she had the fall in June 2017. Was that when she fell over Colin the cat?
Yes, with the cake and the table, chair and all sorts.
At Mr_Plant_Geek, friend of the show,
he's back.
friend of the show, linking again to Daniel, says, I just knew that there was something up. Even when you consider who the actor is, they wouldn't waste it on just the pedestrian storyline they used. So he agrees, Jean and Daniel needs more.
Yeah, but there's only so much more you can give him because he's dying within like a few weeks or months.
Yeah, but there's obviously a lot more to give.
No,
well,
there isn't.
Let us know if you think this is the end of Daniel or whether there is more to come. I'd be very interested. One last final comment about Honey from at Jazim Sank on Twitter. Honey was amazing. I keep watching that scene of her giving Habiba some home truths in the kitchen over and over, and hopefully Emma Barton gets her own storyline once Adam leaves Walford. Yeah, Emma definitely deserves more of a chance. And not with Billy.
Yes, keep away from Billy. Keep away from anyone horrible.
Billy's not horrible. He's just... It's just not interesting enough.
You can go with Jags.
I mean, Honey is really... the character of Honey is really showing some, interesting turns here. And I just think if he's, again, to stop it halt again, would be the whole Billy and Honey story.
Well, she's on Strictly, so when Kush was on Strictly, he came out and had that big storyline with Shaquille. So maybe they have big things for Honey coming up.
Yeah, hopefully. Fingers crossed. So, do contact us. You can find us on Twitter at EastEnders Week. You can find us on Instagram at EastEnders Weekly Podcast. You can also join our Facebook group. All you have to do is search EastEnders Weekly Podcast. Our group will pop up and click to join. You can find our YouTube channel where we have exclusive videos of spoilers each week by searching on YouTube EastEnders Weekly Podcast. And finally, the good old-fashioned email. It's funny that they're saying now email is old-fashioned.
Yeah, it's old.
It's weird. We need a post office box as well soon.
P.O. box. Yeah. So you can send us Pat's earrings.
Oh yeah, send us gifts. Send us gifts. Send us money and gifts. Email us, eastendersweekly@gmail.com. Don't forget you can enter our competition. The question was earlier on the show by entering on Twitter and Instagram and email, and you can get free entries for this week. The winner of that will be announced at the end of the year.
What a nice little gift that will be for Christmas.
It certainly will. Gosh, thinking about Christmas already. Better get out and do some shopping on the market. Anyway, thanks for listening, everyone. It's always been a pleasure for you to come and join us.
And we will see you, or hear from you again next week.